Let's take a deep breath. In through the nose, out through the mouth. Welcome to Veronica Says. We're getting into part 2 of my four-part Sephora recommendations series. You might have seen part 1, which was focused on all of the base products of the face. We're talking about foundation, concealer, all of the primers, bronzer, highlighter, setting sprays, all of that goes on before the fun, colorful part of the makeup. So that video is up, that part 1. Please go check that out. This is part 2, where I'm going to be focusing on what happens after you put the base on. So we're going to feature the queen of the makeup game, which is eyeshadow. We're going to talk about lips. We're going to talk about cheek color. We're going to talk about eyebrows and mascara. And I think that's it. Let me look at my list here. Yep, that's what we got going on. So listen, you're probably going to need that bowl of popcorn for this one, or a glass of wine, cup of tea, something. You're going to need something because it's going to be a long one. I've got more than 60 products here. I promise you I won't talk about every single one. I'll group some of them together. Part 3, by the way, just as a preview, is going to be about products that you apply to your skin for skin care purposes, like your moisturizers and serums. I'm also going to talk about self-tanning products. I'm going to talk about brush recommendations, and I'm going to talk about some fragrance selections from Sephora that you might want to get on Sephora versus other sites. And then part 4 is going to be what's actually sitting in my cart to purchase from Sephora. So if you saw my first video, spoiler alert, if you didn't, my biggest recommendation is to make sure that you know what you want to get for the Sephora sale and you've got it in your cart and ready to go and ready to press purchase when the sale time comes, which is going to start April 9th if you're a Rouge member, which means you're one of those crazy people like me that gives Sephora way too much money every year. So you get to be in that tier. And then there's a next tier at 15% off. And then I think it's the insider tier is at 10% off. But the Rouge comes up first. So they get first dibs on sales. And so sometimes things sell out. So what I'm getting at is make sure your cart is ready so you don't have to scramble around when the sale time comes, and you can just purchase and be on your merry way. But you have to know what you want to get. And another quick disclaimer before we jump into the products is sometimes the sale is better on the actual website of the company that you're looking at. So one example is Pat McGrath. She will a few times a year have a 30% off sale if you spend so much money. And that's going to be obviously better than your 20% off at Sephora. So just a word to the wise, go ahead if there's certain brands that you like to sign up for their email list so that you'll get the email from their company when the sales are ready to roll. Are we ready? I got to stretch for this one, you guys. Woo! Let's get to it. I will leave the eyeshadow for last since that tends to be the most fun category. And I'm selfish and I want you to stay the entire time. Is that cool? So why don't we start down and go up? Let's start with lips. And so these are products, by the way, that I have tested myself, that I actually either have in my collection or have recently run out of, that I can recommend from a personal basis. I like it. I've tried it. I like it. I think it's worthwhile. I think it's worth the price point because let's face it. So Sephora Sephora sells mostly high-end and luxury makeup. Some of the stuff is a little lower priced, but for the most part, that's what you're getting. And so if I'm going to recommend something to you, it's because I feel like it's worth the price tag, at least at the sale that you're going to get. Fair enough? Okay. So let's get to it. Lip recommendations. I have 4 kinds of lipstick that I want to recommend. One is the Urban Decay Vice lipstick line. They come in what look like little bullet shells here, like that, which are super cool. And it has, I like the Comfort Matte formula and the cream formula. I won't swatch all of these, but I will sort of show them to you. There are 3 here in my hands. I think I have a 4th and a 5th one in my drawer somewhere, but I've already chipped all of my nails trying to get these products out for you guys. And I want to leave some nails on me. So I'm just going to show you 3. This one is the color Uptight. Okay, like a pinky, brownie, nudie kind of color. Highly recommend. All of these I highly recommend, so I'm just not going to say that. Maybe I'll say it again. I don't know. Hitchhike, which is in the Comfort Matte formula. It's a little bit more pinky red. And then the last color that I'll share, because I can't find the others, is the color Backseat. And this is in the cream formula, which is more on the brown warm side. All of these lipsticks are fabulous. If you're into packaging, this packaging is super duper cool. I love this like little shell idea and the way that they were labeled on the back. Let us move on. I also highly recommend the NARS formula. This is the matte formula. And I don't know how to say these names. And again, I have 3 here that I want to show you, and there's a couple more lingering somewhere. This is, I think it's Pigalle, and it's this deep, beautiful brown color. Love this. These go on so smooth. They stay put for a good part of the day until you eat something oily and then things start to come off. Or if you're like me and you drink coffee all day long, you know, the cup, you know, you're constantly pressing on the cup and kind of messing up your look. This is an old school color from the Audacious lipstick line, and it's called Raquel. And it's this bluish pinky color. Really pretty if you like cool tone looks. And finally, Tonka, which looks like that. Deep, dark, neutral brown. Really pretty line of colors. Hard to go wrong with them. And I also like the way it's packaged. Really neat. Moving along, I would recommend also the YSL Tatouage line of, what are these called? This one is called the Tatouage Couture Velvet Cream Lipstick. So it's called a lipstick, but it comes in this little like doe foot applicator thing. I don't know that I love this so much, but I love the formula in it. This particular color is the color 201, and it's a little bit of a bluish red. Spoiler alert, I have another one of these in my cart that I'll tell you about. But I like that this velvet cream formula goes on nicely and stays put. I don't love so much that it's a little bit on the creamy side, but I have a matte one, like a fully matte one in my cart that I want to test out. But nonetheless, these are beautiful. The packaging is gorgeous. Love it. And then again, if you're going to order some Pat McGrath and not wait for Pat McGrath's sale because you're impatient like me and just have to have what you want to have, I would highly recommend her Matte Trance formula. Matte Trance, and it comes in the packaging like this. Some people love this packaging. I don't really love the packaging so much, to be honest with you. I think the little lip on the front is a little on the tacky side, but that's okay, Pat. We're cool. This is the color Christy, which is a really light pinky color with a little hint of blue. I do plan to purchase more of these. These lipsticks go on sale on the Pat McGrath site a lot. There are some colors that don't show up on the Sephora website and vice versa. Sometimes you'll see some colors on the Sephora website that have sold out or no longer sold on the Pat McGrath site, and it's a little bit of a crapshoot that way. So if you see a color you like, get it. But she has some fabulous, fabulous matte colors all the way in range, from the lightest pinky nudes to like the deepest purpley shades if you're into some fun goth kind of looks, and everything in between. Some beautiful reds. I mean, you just can't go wrong with the Pat McGrath formula. Really, really pretty. This is the matte one, which is my favorite, but it does come in other formulas like a creamy color or a creamy finish, satin finish, that kind of thing. Now, let's talk about lip liners. Oh no, wait a minute. I have forgotten one of my very, very favorite lipstick formulas. You won't be surprised, will you? And hopefully you won't be put off to hear me gush about Natasha Denona. You know that if I could advertise for her, I would. Natasha, are you listening? I would love to be on your PR list. You know I love your stuff. Let's talk. Give me a call. Send me an email, my friend. I have 2 colors here. I think it's pronounced Liron or Liron, which is like this peachy brown color. Super pretty. These are cream formulas. They're not matte, but they behave like mattes in that they stay put on your lips. And look at this packaging. Isn't that, I just love that. I love how sleek and clean that is. And then the other color that I have is Noa. I just got these for Christmas. This is like a really nice brownie nude kind of color. Really favorite lipsticks. I reach for these a lot. Maybe not as much as I should while I'm on camera, but sometimes if I'm freshening up in between during the day, these will be my go-tos. Spoiler alert, I have a bunch of these in my cart as well. Let's move on to lip liner, and then we'll talk about my very favorite lip gloss formula, like in the universe. So lip liners, one of my all-time favorites, and I have tried others from this line, and it's about the color and the performance of this specific one. It is Charlotte Tilbury's, look how tiny this is, you guys. Charlotte Tilbury's Iconic Nude. This one I will swatch because it's such a special shade. It's just like the perfect neutral shade that goes with really nice cool tone, pink lips, and also like your fiery colors too, and everything in between. That's Iconic Nude, one of my favorite from the Charlotte Tilbury line. Really nice. And it's creamy, but also dry enough that it doesn't slip around. Like the Marc Jacobs lip liners, I like them a lot. I love the color range that it comes in. But to be honest with you, it's so creamy that it slips off as I'm eating or whatever during the day. And ain't nobody got time for that. Another formula that I love is the Urban Decay 24/7 Glide On Lip Pencil. It looks like this. And the colors that I was able to find, because my lip liners are chaos, you guys. They are like all over the place in my drawers. I have the color 1993, which is just sort of a simple neutral kind of brown color, sort of in between. And I also have the color Uptight. These are just the ones I was able to find. I think I have a third and a fourth one. Really nice lip liners. No problems with these. But my new favorite is called Le Lip Liner from Lancome. I just purchased 4 of these during the recent Lancome sale. In fact, I think it's still going on. So if you really want these, go to that site. 30% off if you spend $175 or more and use the code OURTREAT. But I have 4 colors. I have Fraichelle. I have, oh gosh, sorry this is taking so long. Bronzelle, which is a more brown color. This is a pinky color. That Fraichelle, the Bronzelle, is more of a brown color. I have Signature Mauve, so you can, figure out what that looks like. It's like a pinky bluish color. And then maybe one of my favorites is Ideal, which looks like that. Ideal. Really nice neutral brown. These, you guys, they go on. You don't have to think about it for the rest of the day. They got you. They got your back. They're going to take care of you. And then, so let's talk about my favorite lip gloss formula. I love the Becca lip glosses, and I like the Fenty lip glosses. They're okay. But the formula that I have really fallen in love with and that has won my heart to the point where I'm not sure I want to cheat on these lip glosses with anybody else are my Pat McGrath Lust lip glosses. They come in different, it's the same formula, but they come in different finishes. Some have a little bit of metallic in them, like this one. You can, I don't know if you can pick that up on the camera, but it has like a little bit of shimmer in it. And others are just more flat in color. And then like this one, is a little bit more sheer on the lips. But you can't go wrong with these colors. I adore these. These are staples. These are staples in the collection. You can get any of them. But the ones that I like the most, I would suggest for beginners are Faux Real and not Wicked Whisper. Yes, I would suggest that, but Faux Real and Flesh Fantasy. That's Flesh Fantasy. It just goes really nicely with a lot of different lip colors if you just put just a little bit in the middle. And then Faux Real is that one. Okay, guys, these are worth every penny, full price, and definitely on sale. Let's then move up the face to our cheek products. I don't have a bunch of cheek products to recommend here. In fact, some of the ones that I would have recommended are no longer sold on the Sephora website, but I have 4 products to just share with you to think about. The Jouer Duo Cheeks, I think is what they're called. This one is called, it's a blush duo, and this one is in the color Cheeky Summer. and it looks like that. So you get sort of a more matte one with a little tiny bit of shimmer, and then a lighter one with a little bit more shimmer. Really beautiful duos. So that's the Jouer, and it comes in this really nice packaging. Jouer Blush Duos. Another one that I've had a lot of fun with, and these sell out. In fact, one of these colors that I'm going to share with you is currently sold out, but maybe it will come back for the Sephora sale or before the Sephora sale starts. And it is the Melt Cosmetic Digital Duo Blush. What a name. Digital Duo Blush. And it looks like this. Really cool compacts, you know, very simple plastic design, but neat. And I have the color Buzzkill and Queen Bee. Buzzkill is currently sold out, but I hope that it comes back before the sale begins. And it looks like that. These are rather shimmery on the cheek. So if you don't like that, if you like something a little bit more matte, this is not for you. Don't put it in your cart. Okay. And then the color that is available is called Queen Bee, and it looks like that. And y'all know I like a lot of bronze, so that's right up my alley. I don't have this on today, but I really like this a lot. You can put one on, you can put the other on, you can swirl your brush around and put it all over. I love that it has the little bee and honeycomb design in it. I think it's so cute. So that's the blush digital, Lord, I had to say it again, digital duo, digital duo blush. Awesome. Now, a blush that steals the show, for sure, are the Buxom blushes. This is the Wanderlust Primer Infused Formula. This is the color Mykonos, and this is the color Seychelles. These are gorgeous. Now, Seychelles looks funky in the pan, almost like it'll be a little purpley, but it just comes across like a suntanny color. Super nice. And then Mykonos I actually have on today, even though this camera's not picking it up. So let's, you know, just reapply. You see, it has this nice peachy corally color. Really, really love this blush. This is a winner, this Mykonos. You need this in your life. You hear me? You need it. So that's the Buxom Wanderlust Primer Infused Blushes. Let's go on. Let's go up the face. Let's talk about Patrick Ta. Patrick Ta's latest blush line, which comes with two sections. The bottom, or the top part rather, here on the screen is a cream. So usually you would put the cream down and the powder on top. He advises putting the powder down and the cream on top, which I think is really interesting. This is in the color, do we know her? Question mark. I love the names of his blushes. They're so cheeky. Rim shot. Do you see what I did there? His blushes are cheeky. I'm here all night, guys. And if they're on the site, I think I only saw one of these, but I didn't look closely. Any of the Natasha Denona 4-pan face palettes. Actually, these are hit and miss, but I love them a lot. So let me just talk about the Tan Bronze and Glow, because most people agree this is a good one. It looks like that, okay? You get a blush that can also be a bronzer. This is a highlighter, and then some cream products here, but this is the star of the show. Good palette, Tan, Bronze, and Glow. And I'll just talk about one more. I have all four of them, but another one I think you would like that has been popular is the Bloom Blush and Glow palette. Bloom Blush and Glow. And it looks like this. In here, the blush is that color, which looks very intimidating in the pan, but actually shears out to this beautiful, just light rosy color. And then you get the benefit of these other creams and highlighters. Like you can put this cream down, you know, pat that out on your cheek, and then take the blush and pat that out over that. And you have yourself a beautiful rosy cheek without going overboard if you go in light. And then you can do some highlighting with these colors here. So that is the Bloom Blush and Glow. Excellent. All right, we're going to do mascara. I'm actually going to skip eyeliner because, you know, I'm a very big fan of using eyeshadow as eyeliner, and there aren't a lot of eyeliners that I can just really like rave over. I do like the Marc Jacobs eyeliners if you're looking for one. I like the Urban Decay, the 24/7 Glide On eyeliners. Those are very nice too, and they come in a huge wide variety, both of those, of shades. They come in metallics, they come in mattes, they come in shimmers. Have a ball if you're into eyeliner, do that. But let's talk about mascara and eyebrows before we talk about all these pretty palettes here. All right, I have 3 mascara recommendations that I can vouch for. One of my first loves, and this is just a mini because I've run through several tubes of this, and it's the Monsieur Big from Lancome. It's the black one with the rosy raspberry colored front. Monsieur Big. You guys, if you have eye shape anything like mine and you have a decent amount of eyelash, it's an hourglass wand with a wet mascara formula that just does you right. Okay? Trust me. You need this in your life. You need the Pat McGrath Labs Dark Star Mascara. This has become my #1 mascara. I'm going to go ahead and open this. I haven't opened that Monsieur Big yet. I don't want to start drying out the formula. But I just love this hourglass shape. This gives me very nice lifted lashes. You got to curl your lashes first, of course, and then go in with this. It's a nice dry formula, not too dry, and coat it a few times and it will stay in place and do you right. It will do you right. That's the Dark Star Pat McGrath. I'm also liking, I wouldn't say it's a love, but it's a strong like, the Lancome Idole, the new one. Not too bad. I don't love this kind of wand the most, this sort of crescent-y shaped wand. I prefer the hourglass, but if that's your kind of wand, try this out. This is, I believe, is this what I have on today? I think this is what I'm wearing today, and it's been doing really well. I also love the Charlotte Tilbury Push Up mascara, the one that's in the pink tube, the newer one. The Pillow Talk Push Up Mascara is what it's called. I actually just got rid of that because I've been using it for months and months, and the formula finally just gave out and said, I'm calling uncle. I cry uncle. I can't take it anymore. So I had to put that one in the trash. And I think I might put it back in my cart because I really did enjoy that. And then I have a new one that I can only recommend based on the reviews. I haven't actually tried this, so this is my one lie of the group, okay? I haven't actually tried this, but it's the Hourglass Unlocked Instant Extensions Mascara. Looks like that. And it's supposed to be a tubing formula, if I'm not mistaken. I've never tried a tubing formula, but I'm gonna try it. I've had this new one in my drawer waiting to be used. I only like to open maybe 3 or 4 mascaras at the most at a time, something like that, maybe 5, because I find that they, of all the products, tend to dry out the fastest. And then for eyebrows, I do recommend the Anastasia Brow Wiz, and I recommend the Benefit Gimme Brow Pencil. Both of those are really great. I don't have an example to show you because I've run through them. The Benefit one is the main one in my opinion. That's my #1 holy grail at the time. The Anastasia one is nice as well. And maybe it's not called the Gimme Brow, but you saw the picture of it. And I will, of course, list everything down below. This is the Benefit Gimme Brow. Sorry, the other one is called something else. And this actually has little microfibers that you can brush up through your eyebrows to give them body and depth, which is nice. You can probably see a little bit of what I've done here on camera, even though my eyebrows are pretty done for the day. So it looks like that. This is in the color 3. And I do still like the Anastasia tinted brow gels. I especially like this specific color, which is brunette. It's got a little bit of gold in it. And it's fun when you're doing a bronzy look. Let me see if it shows up here on camera. I don't think I used this today. It just gives it like this, the J-Lo, you know, little brown, light brown look on your eyebrows. It's kind of fun. All right, now we're gonna get into the eyeshadows, which is the most fun part. I gotta take a deep breath. All right, I would recommend if you're in the market for an all-in-one kind of palette to check out Tarte's Clay Play palette. It looks like this. It's not my absolute favorite, but it is an all-in-one and it performs pretty well. I'm trying to twist it because it's not giving you the right, you can't really see the colors. Let me move it over here so you don't see the ring light. But you get a highlighter, a blush, a bronzer rather, and then you get 3 color schemes for your eyes here. So that's a nice palette. Hold on, I gotta get one more palette. I almost left this out of the bunch and I would have been sad because it does deserve a place in somebody's cart if they want it. And that's the Tartlet in Bloom palette. There's two more. There's the original Tartlet, and then there's Tartlet Toasted. Is there a fourth one? I know there's a whole series that came out this winter, but I didn't really pay attention to the holiday set. And this is a nice, you know, staple neutral palette that you can use for work, you can use for every day, you can create a smoky look, you can keep it light. Really a nice palette. People seem to really love the Viseart formula. I like it. I think it's great. I don't think it is as good as the other ones I'm going to show you today, but I did want to share one palette that I can highly recommend, and it is the Warm Edit palette. This is a fun little palette. Look how small that is. It can fit in your purse. These are softer shadows, so I would advise from carrying it in your purse unless you have it wrapped up in something else, because it's susceptible to break. In fact, this purple shadow you can see took a little bit of a beating on the way to my house. But these are cute, petite little palettes like this. There's a lot of different Viseart palettes in the Sephora store, you know, online. And so check out what you like and get a color story that makes sense for you. This one makes sense for my skin tone. I have the Rosé Edit too, but that's no longer available on the Pat McGrath site. For Urban Decay, there's one palette I would really like to recommend. I have a bunch of them and they're okay, but I really love the Naked Honey palette. It looks like this. Isn't that just a glorious color scheme there? I just totally love all of the nice warm tones and these gold shimmers here. They're really fun. We don't have time to do swatches, or I would, because you know how much I love to do that. Now, as it relates to Pat McGrath palettes, which is one of three of my favorite eyeshadow formulas ever, Pat McGrath, Natasha Denona, Sydney Grace, I would say wait for the sale on the Pat McGrath website. Wait till they're 30% off and go for it. But if you really just want to get your hands on a Pat McGrath palette and you're not sure what to get, I would think about one of these three palettes. This is the Mothership 1 Subliminal palette. This is a beautiful gray toned palette with some fun pops of color. You might hear some piano in the background. That's my son playing, and you might hear some screaming and screeching, and that's our kids chasing each other around the house. So, so that's Subliminal. I might also recommend the Bronze Seduction palette, which is the Mothership 5. It looks like this in the packaging. And, you know, these come in these really like luxe, heavy lacquered palette designs here. And it looks like this. So you get some nice warm tones and then some fun shimmers. I have other videos featuring these palettes. So you can go check out my videos where I actually do in-depth swatches and conversation on these palettes and what I think of the formulas and such. But these are so much fun to play with if you don't mind some experimentation, because you need to be a little adventurous to enjoy Pat McGrath. And this is her Mothership 7 Divine Rose. I got mine in this beautiful Barbie pink packaging because I'm a spoiled brat. And it looks like this. And I love it. It's this beautiful pinky cool tone for the most part. This one maybe could get away with being seen as warm tone. But if you're not familiar with Pat McGrath, there's always these 4 fun shades on the far right-hand side. And they are especially glittery, fun, astral type colors. Mothership 7, highly recommend if you want to try a pinky toned, cool toned Pat McGrath palette. So 1, 5, and 7. All right, one other formula before I talk about my very favorite and nauseate you guys again is the Tom Ford formula. So these are the Tom Ford eye quads. These are super expensive, like dumb expensive. They're $88 each, which I think is just criminal. However, 20% off, maybe. This is called Nude Dip, and it is my favorite of the colors that I've seen. I only have 3 of these, so keep that in mind. The other 2 that I have are not for sale on the Sephora website, so I can't talk about them. But this is a nice neutral color story. Make sure if you're going to get these that you get the ones with the TF stamped in them for Tom Ford. It's stamped in the actual shadow. That's their wet dry formula. Really fantastic. And the end of this video that you can click off of if you're nauseated from me hearing me talk about it are the Natasha Denona shadows. So I'm going to run you through the big palettes that I have. Actually, I have two little ones that I want to talk about real quick. I have the mini nude, which looks like that, and one of my favorites, which is the camel palette. So she has nude mini palettes rather, and then what you call her 5-pan palettes, and then she has mega palettes, only one of which is sold on the Sephora website, and it is her blue purple or purple blue palette. This thing is a monster and it's super expensive, but it is one of the most gorgeous formulas, you guys, that I have ever had. This one and the green brown palette that looks like this are amazing, but the purple one is the one that's sold on her website. Natasha Denona Star palette, another really beautiful one that doesn't get a lot of attention. Insanely expensive, but worth it. A beautiful formula. If you don't have it and you're a collector, get it. I slept on this for a long time because of the price. My very generous older sister got it for me for Christmas, and I love you, sis. And then I'm going to show you her 4 mini palettes. I have them all. I highly recommend them all. This is the bronze palette. Here's the color story. Beautiful, warm formula. Excellent mattes. Excellent shimmers to die for. The Sunrise palette, which is probably the least favorite for me of the mini palettes, the MIDI palettes, M-I-D-I, MIDI palettes, but still beautiful. Look at this gorgeous color story. I love this melon. I love these pinky rosy colors here. Really a nice palette. You have the Love palette, which was featured for me this week. It looks like that. The color story, mostly pinks and purples. Gorgeous. My favorite of the MIDI palettes, Glam. Y'all, when I tell you this formula and this look, this color story is everything, that's what I mean. These are the most beautiful neutral colors that would suit anyone. Don't let the light colors fool you if you are darker skinned. They will look gorgeous on you. I promise you. So that's Natasha Denona Glam. And then we get into her regular full-size palettes. You have the Metropolis palette. Beautiful, beautiful. Lots of different kinds of formulas here. Can't go wrong with that. The latest, which is the tree. Actually, this is not the latest. The Circo Loco is the latest one, and I'm going to get that. That's going in my cart. But this is the Triochrome palette. The Sunset palette. The Tropic palette, which gave a lot of people a lot of trouble, but I really love them. I love all these neutral colors here, and I love these here. These are some of the most beautiful neutral mattes I've ever played with. The Gold palette, which is a big favorite among YouTubers. Excellent. Another really bizarre palette that I love to play with. This is the Safari palette. All matte formula. Another favorite of mine from hers is the Lila palette. I hesitated to buy this one because I didn't think I would like the color story in person. This is one of the most gorgeous palettes with one of my favorite color stories ever. Beautiful eye looks out of this. Stunning. And then finally, the darling of the group, the Biba palette, which is what's on my eyes today and what I wore during my wedding. It's this beautiful, warm toned color story, a couple of cool tones up in here. To die for. I love all of these palettes, and when I tell you I use them, I love them, I give them a lot of attention. They talk back to me, they treat me right. We're good friends, me and my Natasha palettes. You can't tell me anything. So those are my picks for part 2. Please tune in for part 3 and part 4 and go watch part 1 if you haven't seen that. Thank you so much for joining me. Have a great one, my friends. Take care.